What's up, family? Welcome to Positive Power Double XI, J. Royce Films. I'm Jerry Royce Live, and you're watching The Red Room with Shay Samuels, right here on Music Vision Television. That's right, MVTV-21.com. It's going to be awesome, y'all. So please share this file. It's going to be awesome. You know what's going to be? It's going to be lit.
Welcome to another episode of The Red Room. I am your host, Shay Samuels, and I'm so glad that you're here with us for another episode. As always, we have so many great guests, and today we're not going to disappoint you. Today, I have my sister friend, my media guru, Paula G. Voice, Lady Wisdom After Midnight is what I call her, with me today, and I promise you that you are going to be blessed. First of all, her voice is so soothing. When you hear her talk, you'll know exactly why we call her Lady Wisdom. So much wisdom comes out of her. But I want you to get to know her for yourself. So first, let me say, welcome, Paula G.
Hey, Shay Samuels, voice of an angel. How are you, love?
I'm good. My song says it. I'm good.
I'm good.
Well, thank you
It's all
so
right.
much. It's all right. It will be all right.
It will
A
be
song
all right.
that touches everything. But let's hear some more about you. I know that the audience have seen you. You know, you were doing you're doing some phenomenal things out there. You are no stranger, not just to the Red Room, but even to the production. And so I just want everyone to know, if you have not met her before, just to get a tad bit about who you are.
Well, I like to consider myself a sagacious lifestyle influencer who is embracing my journey and encouraging others to embrace theirs by just manifesting their dreams. You know, George Eliot said that it's never too late to be what you might have been, and I am a witness. I'm a radio and TV personality. I'm a voiceover talent, a print model, and actress and author. And it is a pleasure to be with you, my sister.
Yes. I mean, and here's the thing. The one thing that I love the most about you is your energy. It doesn't matter, you know, anytime we see you, you are so productive. If it's not training and pulling those big old wheels over, you just be going in. I have seen some of your print models, and I think amazing, just inspiring. And you show, you know, the 60 and over, like, you show that it seriously does not matter. It doesn't matter. You begin right where you are. Like, every day I can just see you waking up, PG. I call her PG, but Paula G. I could see you waking up and just saying, what am I going to get into today? I know that, you know, God has something designed for you, but you just don't sit still. So I really appreciate who you are and the inspiration that you have become for so many of us. So today we're going to be talking about something I believe is needed. I believe that, you know, there's so many things going on in this world, and we get distracted by what we see on TV, what we hear on radio, what's going on in our personal lives. And you know what? I feel that we're forgetting about a group of people that really need us. All the drama that goes on with the politics, everything that's going on with religion, you know, there's so much violence and it's running rampant. We're in the midst of a war. So much is happening. And I think we've forgotten about the little people. I think we've forgotten about the little people. And so I want to talk about that tonight, community, and how important it is for us to bring it back. Bring it back. What did community look like for you growing up, Paula G?
Oh my goodness. Community, what it looked like for me was family and the church. My mother's side of the family was a pretty sizable family. I had a lot of aunts and uncles, and you know, I can remember, as we're talking, I can remember every year my family had a crab feast in Delaware. My mother's side of the family is from Delaware. And we would have this family crab feast. And my uncles would steam the crabs. They throw the bushels on the table,
Wow.
and
Yes.
everyone would just, get their crabs. And I remember that up until about the age of 5 or 6, the aunties, they would take
Yes.
and shell your crabs for you. But after that age, you were on your
I
own.
still get it done. I still get it done. My mom still deshells for me.
So you're one of the lucky ones. But it was just that community of family. It was a
Yeah.
community, our church community as well, was
Yes.
a close-knit community. Our youth group, our Bible studies, Sunday school, all of those groups
Wow.
were just developed who we are, and helped us to grow into
Yeah.
who it is that we are today.
Yeah, it's amazing because as you were talking, I was thinking about my third grade teacher. Her name was Miss Thomas.
Mhm.
And one year, my mom, forgive me because I know that she's going to see this broadcast, but my mom, she was dating a guy and the guy stole all of our Christmas gifts. And it was amazing for my mom because she was going out hustling and bustling, and she had told the school about it. And my teacher, Miss Thomas, I thought I was in trouble, but after school, my teacher pulled my brother and I into a room. It was kind of like a boardroom type of thing. And we were sitting there thinking we were in trouble. And the teachers rallied around us. They heard what happened and they started bringing toys. They started bringing their own gifts to replace what had been stolen. And my mom, she popped in and they had blessed her with that. And for me, that's what community looks like as well. It can happen right there in the school. And we're missing a lot of that. Right now, Paula G, I feel like the teachers are giving up so much on the kids. And it's, you can't really blame them, unfortunately, because the kids are not being raised properly at the homes. The parents are getting younger. And we're really missing an opportunity to kind of bring that back. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's even possible to bring back what you just talked about? And even what I just said, do you think that it's possible for us to even touch that again?
I believe anything is possible.
Yes.
But but it is definitely a journey. I think there's a multitude of issues that have brought us to where we are today. And one of them, and I don't know that people really think about this or consider this, but one of them, yes, the things that you mentioned are factors, but I
Yes.
really believe when we talk about community, when we were growing up,
Yes.
I believe one of the factors was the transition from neighborhoods to subdivisions.
Ooh,
Because when you were little, you got on your bike and you
wow.
you went from street to street. If you had a friend that was 3 or 4 streets over,
Wow.
you could ride your bike over there as long as you were home by the time the street lights came on. You
Yes.
know, and you just navigated the streets in the neighborhood. But
Yes.
now that we are in these subdivisions, our young people are not really
Wow.
riding bikes, much less venturing out of the subdivision
Yes.
to go to another subdivision to visit friends. So I think that was the beginning of the decline of our
Yeah.
community as we know it. The corner store. You remember maybe riding your bike
Yes.
or walking to the corner store. So,
Yes.
once we got in these isolated subdivisions, these gated communities,
Yes.
the
Ooh.
children began to engage in activities and toys that were of the technological nature,
Yes.
as
Yeah.
opposed to, being put outside and you got to stay out there
Yes.
till the street lights came on. And
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's true because I remember when I was probably maybe in the sixth grade at this point, and I remember reading in my scholastic book all of this technology that was going to come. And I was thinking at a very young age how much of a disadvantage it was going to be for us as we got older. I felt like it was going to make people weaker. I felt like people were going to become less intelligent because everything was made easy. I was reading it and I remember how many jobs would be lost because of it. My mom, shout out to her, she used to be a general manager at KFC. And every summer, my mom would host a party in the parking lot. She would get a big stage out. I had the honor of actually performing at one of her events, but every summer she would bring out the community. And this was at KFC. She would just bring out everything in the parking lot, have everyone come, and she would give her favorite thing away, 2 wings and a biscuit. And that was her way of giving back into the community. I never thought about the subdivision, though. I never thought about how isolated the subdivisions have made us, because I live in one. And I have to be honest with you, I don't see that people are very neighborly. I can't honestly say, I came out one day, and I'm home very little, but I came home. I had new neighbors. They have a gate up. Knew nothing about it. I didn't know anything about it. But I do remember the times where my grandmother and her neighbors would just sit out on the step. I remember the kids riding the bike. You said it, and I thought about how many times we were playing double dutch, scribbling in the middle of the street. Right. And we're not giving the kids an opportunity. There's a lot of violence out there, Paula G. And I do want to talk about that, because we have to, somebody's watching this and they're saying, well, don't they know that people are killing one another every single day? That's why we're afraid to go outside. We don't know who to talk to. There's so many mental disadvantages there. You were in the school system at some point. What did you see, and how did you overcome that?
Well, in the school, we always say that, well, not always, but they're one of my administrators, I remember she would say at the beginning of each year that each student walks into the building each and every day with an invisible suitcase. And our job within the 6 or 7 hours we have them is to help them unpack that suitcase, to figure out how to coexist with what is in that suitcase while learning their academics, and then sending them back home, because the rules of the school building for some of our youth are different than the rules out there on the street. And I know we've heard this conversation before. Things that are not allowed in school are things they need on the outside in order to survive. So it's a constant, it's just a constant struggle back and forth. And depending on the environments that the students were coming from, some students handled their situations different. They may have had similar parallel situations, but depending on the foundation that they were coming from, determine how they handled it, how they coexisted with it. When you have a young person that's worried about their home life when they get home, when they're worried about being safe when they're getting home, when they're worried about getting from the schoolhouse to home, it's difficult for them to concentrate on English, math, science, and social studies. When they have all these emotions and these feelings and they don't know where to put them, a lot of times they come out in anger. A lot of times they come out in violence. I remember I had a young lady, and she was sent down to my office for some sort of disciplinary action. And I developed a bond with this young lady. And usually when my students would leave my office, I would give them a hug, And I remember approaching this young lady, and she kind of cringed. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, may I give you a hug? Is it okay to give you a hug? And she was shaking her head violently. Now, this young lady was about 16 years old. She was shaking her head violently. Long story short, because of the life that she had to coexist with at 16 years of age, she had never been hugged. She had never felt a hug. And when adults approached her, it was not in a positive way. So she didn't, trust that interaction. So it's just a lot of social and emotional, psychological,
that right there.
Social and emotional baggage that is in that invisible suitcase that they bring into the building, and it can manifest in them fighting. It can manifest in them falling asleep in class. It can manifest in them, skipping classes. But at the end of the day, it manifests for the most part in them not having the ability to retain the English, math, science, and social studies, which is a whole nother conversation, because then you're looking at performance, and then you're looking at test scores, and that's a whole nother, it
just spirals itself down.
It spirals itself down. Spiral. And I think with the teachers, I would have to say the majority of them, yes, there are some that are like, deuces, but the majority of them come to work every day, pouring out their heart, their
Yes.
soul, their own
Yes.
finances,
Yes.
their own emotions,
Yes.
you know, to
They're coming with their own
their
baggage as
best.
well.
Yeah, on top of that, yes. And doing their best to pour into these young people and help these young people. I remember a teacher coming into my office one day, and you know, because of all of the testing protocols and the administrative and the political and all that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
I remember this teacher just tearing up
Oh,
and saying to me, she said, I just want to teach.
yeah.
I just want to teach. That's all I want to, I just want to teach.
It doesn't
You
happen
know,
that way.
yeah, I just wanted to, you know, all of the political and the administrative and the red tape and
What would happen? What would happen if what you go through in the school, you actually had to go through while you're in school? What would happen if instead of teaching the information that they'll need to be able to teach as a teacher, that they get up with the time and they start giving the teacher even that type of class so that they are aware when you go into the classrooms, here's what you're going to enter into. I
Mhm.
remember even before I became a nurse, it was all easy peasy. I mean, there were some things that we had to do that were like, you know, we had to prick each other's skin. There were some things we had to test on one another.
Right.
But when I got on the floor, it was completely different. And a lot of people who were in school with me, they bailed out of nursing quickly because we didn't get the full training. So I think we could start there too. I think while the teachers are in school, I think that there needs to be some type of fire drill, if you will. There has to be some type of fire drill that we could give, or they could give the teachers, because when they go out, you get what you just got, what was said to you. I just want to teach.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, it to their credit, you know, of course, all of them go through a student teaching, but sometimes they go through student teaching in environments that are not reflective of the environment they actually wind up in. And it's sort of, if I could use this analogy, it's sort of like, and I remember when my oldest daughter did her study abroad program her junior year of college.
Uh-huh.
She was fluent in Spanish, took Spanish all through high school, all through college. She was fluent in Spanish, and this may be to your point. She was fluent in Spanish, did her interview, everything in Spanish. Her first semester was in, I might be getting the semesters confused, but her first semester was in the Dominican Republic, and she struggled because the dialect, the connotations, definitions of certain things are different than the manner in which she learned
Yes.
Spanish
Yes.
here.
Wow.
The second semester she was in Cuba, it was a repeat where
Wow.
she had to go through that again. So I think I said that to say you can only simulate so much, because once you
Yes.
actually get into the school environment, you know,
Yes.
there are definitely drills that you know, educators go through, but
Okay.
until you actually get into a school, the specific school environment and the culture of that
Yes.
particular school, you can apply what you've learned,
Yeah.
but a lot of it really is thinking on your feet.
Yeah. And
Thinking
I
on your
think
feet.
too, just getting back to the community, I think that schools have a good part, you know, getting back to the schools do expect the children to be. I had a friend who was saying that their son got in trouble, having a hard time at school. And he said that the teacher called and said, you know, he made a comment that he didn't like. And so they wanted the dad to come pick him up. And the dad was just like, these teachers nowadays, they just don't know how to work with the kids. I mean, before, like, I used to just get put in the corner, not me personally, but I know some people who used to go into detention. That wasn't me. But he was saying the teachers are very impatient. But I think from a community aspect, even as adults, we've gotten impatient. I have a cousin who actually told me that her mom, although we saw her as very privileged, she had nice clothes on, hair was always done. Mom worked a lot to make sure she had these items and then sent her with my aunt. And as she's older, she said to me, she said, you guys saw me as privileged and I saw me as underprivileged. I never had my mom. She said she was always at work and all I wanted was my mom. And we have been put in an environment where we can't even involve ourselves in anything community. You have HOA meetings, only one person really shows up. You have a community event, the person who put it on, I shout out to my community. When we had the pandemic, everyone came out with barbecues. We came out with grills, the front of our driveways, and we kind of waved to one another. And that was just about it. But where we got it from, I'm going to be honest, and this is another opportunity for you guys to catch for community. We got it from the commercials that allowed us now to be able to re-identify with how to build. Paula G, I think media has a lot to do with disconnecting as a community as well. So do you believe that we need a lot more in the media that kind of depicts what community looks like? Because clearly we followed it by example. What do you think?
Well, I think we followed it because we didn't have a choice. We didn't have anything else to do. So that's why I think we followed it, because if that were mirrored today, I don't know that people would come out, into the community and would have the barbecues and so forth. Because now
it's only like 2 years ago.
Yeah, how quickly we forget.
That was only 2 years ago.
How quickly.
All the ideas, social media brought everybody back together. Like as soon as Zoom came out, everybody was on the phone Zooming. But I'm like, Zoom's been out. How come we're just now connecting in this way?
Because I believe, had to.
I believe that media has a lot to do with it as well. We just have to really strategize. One thing you did say is we have to get back. You didn't say this, but pretty much what it is we have to get back to trusting. I think that has a lot to do too with a lack of community, that we don't trust one another. As beings, like you said, it's that baggage. We're all carrying some sort of baggage. That suitcase, I love that analogy. The suitcase that we all have or are carrying some bit of a suitcase that it doesn't even allow us to look to our left or our right anymore. And I encourage you, if you're watching this today, to be the pillar in the community and start something that actively opens the door for the community to rebuild. We have lost all of our boys and girls clubs. We have lost opportunities for children to just come together and be kids. Recreational basketball, it doesn't even exist anymore because the parents are fighting, shootings happening, and it's not the kids. They're just trying to have, like the teacher you just said, I just want to teach. Listen, I can hear a kid saying, I just want to be a kid. I really just want to be a kid. I want to know what that feels like. And they can't say again because they've had to do this for a really long time. So I believe, Paula G, if we can get back to one, trusting in the community, but two, if we can get back to someone being the pillar and not being afraid to open the doors, even in the subdivision, to community events that's going to change the structure of your community. I know we work. I know that we're busy. Paula G and I, we were just talking about having a lunch date, and here we are right here blessing you guys. Blessing you guys. But I think if you can just decide, I'm going to be the pillar, I'm going to be the change, I'm going to create something, I guarantee you that one brings one. And because you decided, someone else is going to decide. And maybe just for a second, you will have that community feel that will be contagious enough to seriously start building on other communities and other communities. So Paula G, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you so much for being on. I thank you for bringing your background. I know that you bless some teachers out there. We know the struggle is real, teachers. We know it's real. But keep in mind that these children are coming in and they're carrying a suitcase that carries a lot more than we can ever think. Paula G said that she went to go hug a young lady, and that young lady had never been hugged before. And maybe we just start there. Maybe we start there. If you can start there by rebuilding, building the trust, I believe that we can redirect the way that this thing is going and start building the community again. Paula G, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy having a conversation with my sister, Shay Samuels, the voice of an angel. This has been delightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you so much. And look, I want you guys to stay tuned again for another amazing episode. Come back and enjoy it. You think you enjoyed this one? Come back. We will see you again on another episode.